Jaguar is dead for an entire generation, and the company may never recover. They need to fire this guy, get rid of all their woke stuff, pull the advertising, get rid of their pride lobby and their transing at work situation, and promote some good old-fashioned cause. Unless they do that, they're done.
Breaking right now, Jaguar, the blue chip British car brand, has become the latest classic company to go ridiculously woke, and they may well go broke now as a result. So Jaguar has scrapped its iconic logo, but not only that, they have launched a ridiculously woke campaign with a whole load of freakish looking androgynous folk. Watch. No. Why would they do such a thing? Why would they do such a thing? I can tell you why. They have employed and empowered a major woke-topian straight out of Central Casting called Santino Pietro Santi. He outlined this very strategy at the Attitude Awards, which I will show you very shortly. But Father Calvin Robinson, isn't this indicative? Isn't this indicative of what happens when you allow the woke mind virus to infiltrate a legendary company?
The problem is these creative types are all like this, and the speech I'm sure you're going to show in a moment, he pretty much admits that he's not appealing to their audience, to their purchasers, to the people that buy Jaguar cars. And he goes on about diversity and inclusion and creativity as if that's his idol and that's what he's after, which is, it's very sad, because I remember when Jaguar was a British company and they made British cars, and it was part of our heritage and our culture. It was good. I loved Jaguar at the time. Now looking at them, I mean, first and foremost, the logo design, it's just change and decay. They've gone from what was, I mean, it had the actual animal in it, the Jaguar in it, as well as the logo, and it's a nice font. And they've removed all that, gone to modernity, just stretch out minimalism. It's just this nothingness. It could be, that could be a perfume, it could be a shoe, it could be anything. It's meaningless. And then, of course, the advertisement itself, which is full of not just sexually androgynous, but ethnically ambiguous people. And it's just meh. Beigeness. Just what does it mean? What does it stand for? What does it have to do with nice old-fashioned English traditional cars? Nothing. So
like
who's
that,
going to be
Calvin,
buying it?
like that, right? Nobody's
Right.
pussycat. That's what we expect from Jaguar. But look, Calvin, I've got to show you this man. I've got to show you this man. Probably he's really offended, Calvin, that I've just called him a man, because he's wearing something that actually no man should wear in public. So I imagine he's probably a they, them. But let me show you this bloke, Santino Pietro Santi, spouting utter mumbo jumbo. Now, Andrew Neil has already predicted that this guy will be out of a job within days. I wouldn't be surprised, but I'll get your reaction after, Calvin.
And at Jaguar, we're passionate about our people, and we're committed to fostering a diverse, inclusive, and unified culture that is representative not only of the people who use our products, but in a society in which we all live, a culture where our employees can bring their authentic selves to work. And we're on a transformative journey of our own, driven by a belief in diversity, inclusion, creativity, policy, and most importantly, action. We've established over 15 DEI groups, such as Pride, who are here tonight in the back. Thank you guys for coming. Women in Engineering and Neurodiversity Matters. We've launched major policy revisions, such as transitioning at work, to drive equity and support for our communities, embracing individuality as our superpower.
Oh, Calvin, it all makes sense. It all makes sense. I mean, did you understand any of that, first of all? Did you literally understand any of that? That is a company with far more money than sense.
Why is he dressed like a camp 70s pop star? I don't like, who does he
Exactly,
think
you're a
he is?
professional. You're a professional. Show up in a suit. It's
Right.
embarrassing. You're not
And the
performing
way
at Eurovision, mate.
and leave your sexual ethics at home. What's it got to do with the car? That he's going on about pride, this and that. He's talking about transitioning at work. Who's transitioning at work? From what into what and why? And then he goes on about neurodiversity. Now, I am the first among anyone to support special needs people, but what does that have to do with you selling cars? I'm baffled by all of it. It's politics where it doesn't belong. And it's the worst form of politics because it's going to destroy their brand. They're going to have a Bud Light moment. People are going to stop buying Jaguars, if they even buy Jaguars anymore. I haven't heard the word Jaguar in at least a decade. So I suppose what this is doing is it's at least putting Jaguar back on the map. So what they need to do now is fire this man, pull this advert straight away and get something sensible and get Jeremy Clarkson to come on and go, Jag. And that would be it. That would fix it.
It's so interesting, though, Calvin, because look at the words in this campaign. I actually think something more sinister is going on here. Delete ordinary. Delete ordinary. Why, Calvin? Why? You don't have to be ordinary, right? Absolutely fine if you're not ordinary. But you know what? Isn't it okay to be ordinary? Isn't it okay to be a straight, married, ordinary couple with kids who are just focused on your life, trying to save up money for the car of a lifetime? I just hate this concept of wanting to delete ordinary, and I find it sinister.
This is the problem I've had with the woke movement from the beginning. The LGBTQ plus IAAA movement has been... They pretended at first it was about having alternative views, which everyone can get behind having alternative views, but then it became making the alternative the normative and smashing heteronormativity. It's like we literally can't survive in a world where we smash heteronormativity and promote alternative lifestyles as the normative. Like you can argue to make room for all lifestyles, but you cannot argue to replace normative with heteronormative. It's insane.
It is insane. So Andrew Neil, who I mentioned, he also posted the clip of Santino Pietro Santi, Jaguar's head of brand strategy.
It's a great name, by the way. It sounds like Saint Peter backwards.
It is a good name. It is a good name. And he says, I guess this explains Jaguar's bizarre new commercial rebrand. I suspect it won't be long before he's given the heave. And it's very interesting that you mentioned Bud Light, Calvin, because Bud Light, there was an almost immediate commercial backlash over the signing of Dylan Mulvaney, the trans influencer. And their super smart head of marketing was out of a job. I do slightly worry that a big American brand is a bit more adept at handling something like this than a British brand, because I don't know if we stand up for our morals enough and stand up for what we want commercially enough, Calvin.
But is it still a British brand? I thought they'd been brought out by an American company. I'm not too sure, actually. But this is the only way they can save it. If they don't, Jaguar is dead for an entire generation, and the company may never recover. They need to fire this guy, get rid of all their woke stuff, pull the advertising, get rid of their pride lobby and their transing at work situation, and promote some good old-fashioned cause. Unless they do that, they're done. You know, I've been around a few bars and stuff in America over the last couple of months. No one buys Bud Light anymore, and if you do, you get laughed at, and so the brand can be denigrated instantly. And I think that's what's going to happen.
Long-term brands can be destroyed. I mean, Calvin, it was just last week that we were speaking about the Boots commercial. Adjoa Ando, who was the woman responsibly for the terribly white balcony comment. And, you know, there has been a massive backlash against Boots, a really genuine backlash against Boots. And its stock price has been hit as a result.
It's just not commercially viable. Like companies are there to make a profit for their shareholders. It's as simple as that. And so when they start to make massive losses, they have to react. It can't be all about their woke values. And just because this head of advertising may be woke doesn't mean the entire company needs to be woke. Why can he not live his personal life with his personal politics? Why does the whole company have to shape around his narcissistic agenda?
Stand by much more from Lady Colin Campbell in just one moment. First, though, digestive issues are caused by a potential toxin that's in all of the, quote, healthy foods that scientists have been telling us to eat with a fraudulent food pyramid for the longest time. And this potential toxin causes digestive issues. According to Dr. Gundry, a world-renowned cardiologist, this is affecting millions of people nationwide. Warning signs include weight gain and fatigue and digestive discomfort and stiff joints, even skin problems. Well, Dr. Gundry explains these side effects are often mistaken for normal signs of aging because digestive issues develop usually over a matter of years and sometimes even decades. I can assure you that the damage is probably caused by these health foods, and it's far from normal. The good news is you can easily help fix the problem from your own home. It's very simple. You just have to know which foods are actually healthy and which contain this hidden potential toxin. So you can find this yourself at gutcleanseprotocol.com/outspoken. That's gutcleanseprotocol.com/outspoken. I've put the link in our show notes on YouTube and Rumble too. Because after years of research, Dr. Gundry has decided to release an informative video to the public, free and uninterrupted, showcasing exactly which foods you need to avoid. Go find that video at gutcleanseprotocol.com/outspoken and click on the link in the description box below. Indeed. And Calvin, look at Darren Grimes's post on X here, pointing out that the share price of Boots since their Christmas ad came out with the terribly race-baiting actress has plummeted.
Oh,
And
that's a
he
good point.
says people power.
I'm
And
going to bet against Jaguar now.
well, indeed, indeed. But what's so interesting, Calvin, is you're right. Wokery is so all-encompassing. Companies that literally exist to make money. That is what you are there for, and you make money by serving the largest number of people, and all of that gets chucked out the window.
If I was hired by Jaguar tomorrow, I wouldn't be expected to produce Christian advertisements for Jaguar. I'd be expected to sell cars for Jaguar. Just because I happen to be a Christian doesn't mean that my worldview would be imposed on their company. That would be bonkers. Nobody would think that would make any sense. So I'm not sure why people of the woke cult are doing that. Why they're saying, well, because I'm woke, everyone else has to be woke. This is the only way to live your life. Like, if you want to wear string vests at a professional gig, you do that. But doesn't mean that you have to destroy a historic company in the process.
The thing is, Calvin, where you are, though, there's a big wake-up call happening, and it is because of the victory of Donald Trump. And what, especially in the media, is becoming very clear is that organizations and big media companies, Calvin, that have spent the past 2 years egregiously and disgustingly lying to their audience are now being punished. And they're being punished in the most dramatic fashion, Calvin. So, for example, look at MSNBC, or as Trump calls it, MSDNC. This is the far left news network, which is the sister network to Sly News in the UK. So we know they come at everything with a political agenda. Calvin, their ratings are off a cliff because they told their audience Trump is Hitler. Trump is a fascist. Trump is going to stamp out democracy. And now we see two of their biggest anchors, Mika Berinsky and Joe Scarborough, actually going to meet with Trump at Mar-a-Lago. And this all connects to what Jaguar is doing, because if you sell your audience a lie, eventually they walk away.
Of course. And on that note of Trump, he put out a statement just this week saying, I'm not looking for retribution, grandstanding, or to destroy people who treated me very unfairly or even badly beyond comprehension. I'm always looking to give a second and even third chance. I just love that. That's like a message of forgiveness and mercy. Everyone's like, he's going to be a dictator. He's going to be a tyrant. He's going to punish us. This, like, his message is exactly the opposite of what they've been saying it's going to be all along. And so you're right. Audiences are tuning out because they're saying, well, what you said is going to happen isn't happening. So therefore, was the person I thought was the bad guy, or are you guys the bad guys? And MSNBC, I think, is going to be sold out very soon. And this is what happens if you keep lying to your audience. Eventually, they'll turn off.
No, it is. It is. It's literally being sold. It is being spun off. Father Calvin, I have said I don't think Sly News will survive this term because people are switching off. People don't have to receive their news from these sorts of sources. Now, what's going to be very interesting with a luxury brand like Jaguar, though, Calvin, is to see the commercial impact, because obviously it's not going to be as instant as what we see with a Bud Light boycott or a Boots boycott. But this could actually hit them over many, many years, because I genuinely believe that the vast majority of people who want to buy a Jaguar are going to be disgusted with this rebrand, and it will put them off.
Yeah, if you want to buy a Jaguar, first of all, you've got to have the money to buy a Jaguar, but it's got to fit your lifestyle. Now, the traditional Jaguar has always been a luxury English countryside brand. It's been your upper class kind of luxurious automobile. Now, it's not been your brightly colored, pop culture, woke, transgender, Barbie girl kind of. That's a different brand entirely. So who are they marketing it at now? They're going to lose their current audience. Can their new audience afford them? I don't think so. I don't think it's going to suddenly become the car of the woke people. I think it's going to no longer become the car of the English gent.
And Calvin, do you notice a difference in the US where there is such a clear divide between companies that serve Democrats compared to companies that serve Republicans? And do we need a similar thing in the UK? So, for example, I'm thinking of Chick-fil-A, for example, which became very proudly a brand of conservatives and actually embraced that and started to sell that. Whereas I don't feel that at all in the UK, Calvin. I don't feel like there's a brand where I can say, I want to visit this brand because actually you're against woke culture. You're against cancel culture. You don't, I'm not even saying they have to support conservatism. They just don't have to try and repel us, Calvin. And I feel like there are some huge commercial opportunities for companies like that to enter the marketplace.
Well, I love Chick-fil-A, first and foremost.
Oh my God,
it's
it's
one
so
of my
tasty.
favorite brands.
So the Chick-fil-A sauce, greatest sauce in the world.
They're conservative, they're Christian, and they own it. The sad thing is, they opened one in the United Kingdom and it got closed down because woke people complained, and they actually complained to the landlord who shut them down out of cancel culture because they're Christian. It's like, for goodness sake. So you can't even have these companies in the United Kingdom, unfortunately. But what's happening over here is the companies that aren't conservative are re-evaluating. So Target was a company that used to sell binders and awful stuff for trans children. This year, they're not doing any of that. In fact, this year, they've got signs up that say Merry Christmas, not Happy Holidays, Merry Christmas. So they've done a 180, and that's great to see. In the UK, I mean, the closest thing I can think of is M&S. I supported M&S while I was there because M&S stayed open throughout the lockdowns. Perhaps they did so for their own financial means, but they managed to find loopholes to keep their stores open. It was one of the few places you could actually shop for clothes during lockdowns. But then they went woke and they had the trans pride flag everywhere. So I was like, I can't even shop at M&S anymore. I don't know what the future of commercialization is in the UK, but over here at least people get more of a say.
Yeah, there's more of a choice. And look, usually, we end up following where America goes. So shame on you, Jaguar. Shame on you, Boots. Not that I was going to be buying a Jag anytime soon, Calvin, but if I was, I wouldn't be doing it now. Father Calvin, so brilliant to have you part of Outspoken on our 100th episode, and we will speak next week.
Happy anniversary. God bless.
Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.